Formula 1 cars come in various shapes and colours, and getting a combination of those two factors right can be harder than you'd think. With that in mind, welcome to the first in a new series where we look back at a specific F1 season and remember the cars we could admire or the ones we had to shield our eyes from. Let's take a look through what the 1995 season had to offer, starting with the worst. In last place we have the Forti FG01, which combined being slow with looking even slower. We're not here to body shame F1 cars, but this car was bloated, had a horrible nose, and even started the year without an airbox above the driver's head. Next on our list is a McLaren MP410. It's just awful from every angle, isn't it? Let's move on. In 11th place is MINARDI, with this white, blue and green design that would last 2 years. The bright wings made it look quite striking from the front, but like so many back of the grid teams, not much focus goes into the livery when you're just trying to find as many sponsors as possible to put on your car. Talking of back of the grid cars, in 10th we have the second and final F1 car raced by Pacific. It wasn't that bad to look at, but it was a bit plain, and it gets marked down for the inconsistency of sponsor logos that appeared throughout the season. Next up is FOOTWORK, which took its patchwork 1994 livery to vibrant new levels in 95. This is a car you either love or hate, so perhaps we've done it a disservice by sticking it somewhere in the middle. Its cause wasn't helped by the number of different designs the team ran through the season, suggesting that even the people painting the car couldn't quite remember what it was supposed to look like. In 8th we have the Simtek, which only appeared at 5 races before the team folded. It wasn't as good looking as the previous year's car, but it retained enough of the striking purple livery to at least bring something different. 7th place goes to Jordan, with a car that has to be considered a bit of a patchwork. Compared to some of the liveries the team ran either side of this one, it wasn't very memorable, but it wasn't a disaster. We're into the top 6 now, and this brings us to the double championship winning Benetton B195. This gets marked down because the changes compared to the gorgeous 1994 livery made it worse, and the effective but boxy car shape did it no favours. The success of the team meant the car was covered in sponsor logos, sometimes creating a colour combination that wasn't as easy on the eye as so many other Benettons. Just ahead of the Benetton is the car that was accused of being a clone of it, the Ligier JS41. This is a good example of how a simple livery can make a similar looking car appear much smarter. Just missing out on our podium is the first car to carry major Red Bull branding in Formula 1. The SAUBER C14 kept the team's dark look while experimenting with Red Bull logos before settling on a design we've effectively seen now for almost 25 years. Subsequent Saubers and Red Bull Racing liveries were brighter than this one, which is often forgotten in the company's long history on the grid. 3rd place goes to TYRRELL for this smart blue and white design on its 023. The car started out all blue, but the addition of white after the South American flyaways marched this one up the order, at least in terms of looks. But for beauty and speed, it couldn't compare with our top 2. The runners-up spot goes to the Williams FW17. A silky Adrian Newey design draped in an iconic livery. The shape works, the colours work, it's a piece of art. So what could possibly beat it? Of course, it's the Ferrari 412 T2. To some, this car doesn't have a livery at all, it's just red. But we're judging this on the overall look of the cars, and with its classic scarlet paint and beautiful curves, this was arguably the last stunning Ferrari to look at for a generation. The 1996 car was a chunk, and by the following year the transformation into Marlboro Orange had begun. This was also the final Ferrari to carry the iconic numbers 27 and 28, and although sound isn't part of this debate, let's not forget it was the final V12 F1 car as well. How would you rank the looks of the F1 cars from 1995? Tell us in the comments below, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you want to see more of these in the future.